Hey folks, welcome back to another battle report. It's back to Mordheim, and this is my Mordheim warband at the moment. Obviously the intro is my starting warband. I think I had, 7 or 8 guys. So I'm still at 7. Since the last game, I'm down my other knight errant, but I have gained a warlock, and I rolled up just before this game for the spells, and she's got Fires of Uzul and the Flight of Zimmerman. So that's pretty cool. She'd be quite useful. Normally, I'd like the arrows, silver arrows, whatever they were called. So yeah, but as you'll see in this game, the Fires of Uzul were pretty good for me. So we'll go with it. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else to shout about. Everything else is pretty normal. So let's a quick look at my opponent. And my opponent has obviously got these Shadow Warriors. He's just started it up, managed to get hold of some plastics, and starting to put them together. And he's got his hero out front, and then he's got his 3 Shadow Warrior champion-esque guys. They all are carrying a sword and bow, as far as I know. It's just a bow, not an elf bow or a long bow or anything nasty like that. So that's not too bad. That at least limits their range to 24. So they shouldn't be too horrible. I know these guys can go pretty crazy pretty quick. I mean, they've got like weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4 and 5, like initiative 6, so they're pretty harsh. In the background there, you've got 3 normal guys, just as henchmen, and I think they're just bow and dagger. So yeah, these guys, they've got 7 guys as well in his starting warband, and has Shadow Warriors, so that's never too good for me. On the upside, we are playing roll up surprise attack, and my warband rating, I think it's still in his 80s or something, it might be 90s, and his is starting at 106 or so. So I have the warband rating edge, and I pick him to be the defender, and he only rolls for 2 of his guys, just 2 heroes to start on the field. So in my turn, I get to set up my guys on one table edge, randomly rolled for, and they're all on the north table edge. I've got my longbowman down the bottom. I've got Kalan and Tristan himself, and then I have my other squire, my Baron, the last squire, and at the top I got Eleanor, my warlock. So attacker goes first, and believe it or not, I move up, and didn't get any shots off because I ran, but my spell, yeah, strength 4 is not good for elves. These guys, I think, actually are wearing light armor as well, so they're pretty, pretty strong, but strength 4 gets rid of that armor, and yeah, knocks one down, so it's a good start for Eleanor. I'm already enjoying her investment. So my opponent's turn, he gets up and then hides behind the barrels. The other chap starts moving up to get some shots on as well. Anything important, I try and stick behind some lesser guys, because while you're on the ground floor, you always got to shoot at the closest target as long as it's easier to hit. So you can prioritise over with a large target, I believe, or if your closest target's in cover. Yeah, and over the other side, Tristan is just running up there. I don't mind him. He's got heavy armor. He's got shield. He's a bit slow, obviously, because he's got the heavy armor and shield. And he's also got a lucky charm. So, yeah, I think he should be able to take a couple of rounds of shooting, hopefully, before he gets too worried. In my turn, I keep moving up. Again, as you can see, I'm putting the lesser heroes up in front of my greater heroes, just to keep them alive. Also keeping a couple back as well, just in case someone comes on to the far edge, board edge, because his reinforcements all come in one area at each turn, so he could come behind my lines. And again, Eleanor's got a nice straight line there to that elf, and takes him out this time, so she's definitely, yeah, worth the investment here, because let's face it, my ballistic skill 2 squires aren't up to much. In my opponent's turn, this is his hero, his captain or lord or whatever, champion, leader, warband leader, that's the one. He comes on, and with his ballistic skill 5 and a bow, manages to take out my longbowman who was hiding behind the building here. And in my turn, I decide that, one shot is not going to be enough to take him out, so I'll throw these guys into combat. Which is a bit of a risk, because Baron himself is still only toughness 2 at the moment after his last lot of injuries. But Callahan, the little squire archer boy there, he's got 2 wounds, so he's pretty resilient. That's why I don't mind too much putting them out front. So they both charge in. Between the both of them, managed to stun the dude. It's actually brought up some good options here, because we play with our house rules that if you're fighting with two hand weapons, i.e. the obvious one is normally your main hand weapon like a sword and a dagger, your weapon skill actually drops. So my opponent actually went for not fighting with two hand weapons, because I think he goes from weapon skill 5, is it? Down to 4, which means my my squire, who's only weapon skill 2, hits him on 5, so he decided he'll make it hard for him to hit and just have the sword for the parry, which seemed to have worked out. It was only Baron that actually managed to get a hit through it with his weapon skill 3, and but did manage to stun the bloke. In my opponent's turn, he's managed to bring his henchman group on this turn, and they come on, make their presence felt by taking out, this is, I think was my squire that was back here just to block off any shots against my warlock. This actually might not have been the henchman, that might actually have been his captain again, thinking about it, because I think he's ballistic skill 5, so he's getting some easy shots in here. My squire acting bodyguard for Eleanor over here was also taken out by the two henchmen that turned up. And this is how things are looking. Eleanor's obviously feeling a bit out in the open now, with 4 archers now surrounding her. And I'm also on a route check because I've lost 25% of my army, well, my warband. So as long as I can stay in the fight here, I think I've got a chance. If I can get my fighty dudes up front and keep Eleanor at the back, just sending out a strength 4 fireball, I might be able to bring something back here. So Eleanor does what Eleanor does. She hides up behind the building and sends a fireball into one of the henchmen and takes one out. And in my combat phase, Tristan charges the guy on the floor and takes him out just for the experience point, because I want Tristan to beef up a bit before I worry about my other heroes. And then in my opponent's turn, as you see, he's now got one of his other heroes have turned on from that left board edge, just to join the fight. So that's another archers now. So I think I'm back to 4 archers now. So they are on a route check as well. So it's pretty much first to route losers now. And in their turn, he moves up and manages to get some shots off and tries to do some damage, but nothing goes through. And then it goes to my turn, and Tristan decides they've had enough of all the bow shots against them and leaves. And by the way, I did not have the lady's blessing during this game. Yes, so they were shooting at me quite happily, unfortunately. So after the battle, we rolled for injuries. One of the heroes got a 61, which was captured. And of course, being the honourable Bretonnians I am, I did offer him back at a sensible price of only 15 gold crowns, being, like the mid-roll if I sold him to the pits. And the other one got 65 and was sold to the pits. So how I look at it is Tristan was playing it up safe, that, they're pretty honourable and would sell the elf back. But the other odd knocked out elf, they sold off on the side. So he went to the pits. And finally, the henchman was taken out permanently as well by only rolling a 2. And the chap that went down to the pits, he went up against my, I got a captain here. I do have a pit fighter, but since I'm repainting on my Mordheim at the moment, he's not in. So I'll probably have to get him painted soonish. And get him out the way till he's done. He's actually on my painting desk. He's in the list of things to do along with my ogre bodyguard. So it'll be great to have him in. But for now, he fought this normal chap here and lost. It was really close. He did manage to knock him down. No, he stunned him, but the helmet on the pit fighter saved him, turned over, and in the next round got back up again and managed to then defeat the elf. So the elf was really close to actually beating the pit fighter himself. And obviously rolls the injury afterwards and ends up with a 32, which is the old battle wound. So prior to each game, roll a dice and a roll of a 1. He doesn't take part in the battle. His old injury plays him up. So that's him out for now. And finally on to mine. All my guys, 53, let's have a look, 6. So he had full recovery. 53 is also a full recovery. And a 36 is, I'm going to have to look this up now. It was robbed. That's right. So all his gear vanished. But that's not too bad. All my guys survived. I can pay for his equipment back and not worry about it too much. And of course, I've managed to get some experience for my squires. This chap, Callan, managed to get the experience and got a new skill. Just sometimes it can be really annoying because you just want better stats to start with before you start getting the new skills. But until then, he's managed to get the step aside skill, so at least he can step out of the way when he's in combat and using his 2 mighty wounds. Until then, he's still only weapon skill 2 and ballistic skill 2. So I might buy some new kit out for Callan and make him another combat-y one. But we'll see how it goes for the next one. Buying, money-wise, I didn't actually make up that much money because I ended up buying the equipment back for my other squire, and also obviously had the 15 upkeep for my warlock. And I don't think I found much woods, and I might have found 2 shards or something. I only end up with like 4 gold crowns left in my bank after I've done everything. My opponent, obviously, he also had to pay me 15 gold crowns, which was a boost. And neither of us found anything. Oh, on the random chart, there was the well, but I didn't fancy putting anyone down it for the extra, the extra weird stone, because I just know he would fall sick and miss the next game. And with as few guys as I've got, I can't really afford anyone missing the game. I'd rather my heroes take part and get me the weird stone for the next game. So this is it for now. My warband, it's not doing great, but it's getting there. As long as I keep them alive now, they can gain the experience. I'll get something out of them. I could really do with another hero, but we'll see how that goes. At the moment, I just don't have the money. But the warlock, a great investment. Really, really impressed with that. So, until next time, hopefully you'll see this another Mordheim game. I've got another one against the Shadow Warriors straight after. I did 2 in a row. Get him back into the game and get me onto my 4th game. So, yeah, 4th game. So far 3 games and no wins for Bretonnia. But, it's a warming start. I'm not doing too bad. I've only lost 1 guy and down with really bad toughness 2 other heroes. It's not too bad for them, so fingers crossed for the next game. I'll see you then. Right, Zawellis.